Hail Kingdom, POE2 0.4 will be dropped soon, and this is insanely powerful build for Sorceress in the campaign. Just take a look at this bird, she's basically dismantled in Act 4 almost instantly. But to go through campaign easily, we need to make correct decisions early, right from the start in Act 1. After getting initial weapon, you will find out that it already comes with a skill. Yeah, Sorcerers are quite unique in this aspect because every weapon will have different skill. But also you will find your first skill in a large chest, it will be Spark. And here's the tip that loads of speedrunners used in official race competition in POE2 2. After getting this skill you can respawn at checkpoint and get it once again. The skill will cost 29 gold in a shop. It's really useful because can give us insanely overpowered head start, and you will understand in a second. First of all, let's talk about this spell Spark and why sorcerers are considered not insanely overpowered, especially early game and in campaign. Basically, Spark is so random. You just throw these worms and these worms can attack enemies randomly. So in most cases you're actually losing loads of DPS. Therefore, best plan for early campaign and even for mid campaign sometime is to use your main weapon skill, like Fireball in this stuff for example. But to do it you need really powerful stuff. So after getting to clear fail you will be able to sell these useless skills. And then you can use my shopping list that I added to pinned comment that will highlight all the useful items, like armor pieces with added life, or magical gear with increased spell damage and also level to all skills. And that's what actually is so important for us. We want to find gear with plus level to all spell skills. Now take a look at this highlighted row, it's item level. Technically you can find this item level 5 items even from like level 2. And it's not required level, it's item level that you see when you highlight item. So after getting item level 5 item at level 2 for example, and you can get it in the shop, it can be wand with +1 level or staff with +2 level to all spell skills. The next upgrade is actually at level 25. You probably can find it somewhere near the beginning of Act 2. And the next upgrade at level 55. Guess what? It's basically end of campaign. Probably you won't find any upgrades before you beat the full campaign. And I will show you why it's so important when we will check our gear. So basically what we discovered that every plus level to all spell skills, basically plus level to your skills, is equal to around 50% of increased spell damage on your items. And yes, it's not that simple, it also will be affected by your passive skill tree, so difference will be kinda different at different parts of the game, but for campaign part it works. So try to remember, for amulets it's level 5, then level 41, basically it's Act 4. For focus it also will be level 5 and then level 41, and that's why it's so important. Basically right now in Act 1 you can gear you up to beat full campaign. You actually can build whole campaign with just level 5 items. And that's because 50% of increased spell damage is equal to 1 skill level, and jump for spell damage on your items is actually around 50 levels, so only at level 70 you will be able to find reasonable upgrades for your wands. That's why every time you get back in town, and actually I even suggest to get in town more often if you're not trying to speedrun campaign, and look for gear with plus level to all spell skills in traders. Okay, good gear will carry you through campaign. What about skills? They also matter. And yes, you can play as pure sorceress. You can even start with all 4 spells. You can create flame wall, then throw sparks that will be augmented with extra fire damage, and if you leave frost bomb, it will lower enemies' resistance to every elemental damage type, and also leave a remnant after that will infuse spark, but again, spark is not a reliable skill. And we will switch into completely broken, fully spell battle mage right when we approach last boss of Act 1. But first spell that we need to create is Contagion, and second one will be Frost Bomb. So basically you throw down Frost Bomb and also Contagion, and then you start using your Spark or your basic ability on your stuff. After killing one enemy who is cursed by Contagion, the pack will clear itself. That's why we need Contagion, so we can clear packs a lot faster. The first support gem will be Unleash on Contagion. It will give you ability to throw down 2 Contagions at the same time. A second one will be Rapid Casting on Firebolt. And that's technically it for the first part. Then you will find level 3 gem after defeating this boss Rust King. And while again you can use something like Frost Darts right now, Fireball, or maybe even try Living Bomb. The best actual combination for leveling will be Essence Drain. Essence Drain in Contagion is just insane combination. Also at this point I recommend buying Rattling Scepter and equipping it in your offhand. It will give you ability to summon bunch of skeletons. And now these bodyguards will follow you and also fight for you. It's very useful in some tight spaces and will increase your survivability a lot, especially if you're having any troubles with it as Sorceress. So Essence Drain Contagion. Actually it should be Contagion and then Essence Drain. It will help you clear all the packs, all the monsters in the Act 1 and you will easily move forward. The coolest part, you don't need any support gems to make it work. Yeah, we skip all other support gems because we will need to build other skills a lot more powerful later. One of them is Orb of Storms, this big ball, but as you can see I got 2 balls. Yeah, 2 balls is better than to have 1 ball, and to make it work you need Overabundance support gem on it. And that's actually one of the keys for our insane damage. So with Overabundance we will be able to create 2 balls. And normally it's slowly shooting enemies with bunch of lightning attacks, but when you cast spells nearby, or basically inside the zone, it will actually shoot spells every time. Add Frost Bomb to apply exposure and boss will be melted. Technically this combination will keep you going right to the end of this act. And before end of the act, don't forget to defeat boss in Freytorn because you will get spirit buff from him. I use this gem to create Arctic Armor. You also can create mana remnants if you wish, but honestly Arctic Armor is just better choice. You can replenish your mana with lotions and potions battle. While moving through the first act, you want to take just all elemental damage and all spell attack damage and some casting speed. I just dropped damage over here and picked everything that kinda should work for my build. Again, while you're leveling, it doesn't matter, you just want to get as much damage as close as possible. You can follow my passive skill tree act by act because I left it in a pinned comment. Now let's talk about how to actually melt this first boss and continue melting everything on your way through the Act 2, 3, 4, basically interlude and end game. You want to be at least level 14 when you're reaching this boss, because after defeating Executioner and talking with Latias you will get Uncut Skill Gem level 5, and you will be able to finally create spells that we will need. Spells that we need from level 5 is Ember Fusillade and also Arc. I was lucky and dropped another skill gem tier 5, but if you have only one, create Ember Fusillade. You should have some free support gems, and it should be rapid casting on Ember Fusillade, because it takes so long time to actually cast it throughout. And then drop rapid casting and unleash on Arc. You should already have them on your previous skills. After completing his quest, Renly will give you option to pick a rune. You want to pick Lightning, and you want to drop Socket and rune in your main weapon. This will increase your DPS by around 10%, but make sure your weapon worth it. It should have at least one level to all spell skills. Now take a closer look at damage on Arc. So we got almost 100 damage, and with this wand we have almost 107, so basically plus 10% DPS. But this wand got pretty high increased critical hit chance, critical hit damage bonus and bonus spell damage. Also there is a rune inside with extra lightning damage. This one got pretty high lightning damage, some damage is extra fire damage, which is pretty powerful mods. So yeah, it's better rolls, but it's plus 40% DPS, which is just insane, and mostly it comes from level to all spell skills. Now how our bossing will work. Basically you cast Ember Fusillade before, so you can unleash it instantly, but it's not mandatory, especially if you want to keep your mana. And most important part is to actually place 2 balls, then drop Ice Bomb and then cast Ember Fusillade. The trick that actually Ember Fusillade will activate balls and they will start attacking boss a lot faster. At the same time, Ember Fusillade can be enhanced with remnants left from these balls. So basically you are not only getting this enhancement for free without waiting too long, because you depleting the ball and it will instantly enhance your casted Ember Fusillade. But also while you casting Ember Fusillade, you're not standing still, you're dealing damage. Make sure you don't forget to drop Ice Bomb before to lower resistance of enemy. Now here's the fun part. Basically the build is ready, so technically you can continue going like this almost throughout the whole game. But there's few tweaks how you can improve your build. One of them is of course picking correct support gems. You can get every support gem I used on this run, again act by act, in a pinned comment. But here is the last setup I used after ending this run. And as you can see, it's extremely simple. For Arc we're still using rapid casting and unleash to cast 2 arcs at the same time, but after getting more sockets, I'm using Deliberation. It's just increasing our damage. And that's the only thing you want to do. You want to have more and more and more damage. So maybe you hate rapid casting, maybe you just need a little bit more damage because you can't find better weapon. Then your choice is to switch rapid casting for elemental armament, for example. So you will deal 20% more damage. On Ember Fusilade, however, you want to keep rapid casting, because it will determine how much damage you can inflict to bosses in shortest amount of time, and then just add more and more damage. The gems I used is Rising Tempest and Consider Casting. However, Elemental Ornament also will work nicely. For Orb of Storms, I stopped using 2 orbs and instead switched into Consider Casting and Control Destruction on one single orb, to increase damage of this orb. Second spirit gem I used is Siphon Elements, with Harmonic Remnants later. It helps a little bit when we're clearing, but mostly I just tested it because I will be using this build in the next season. On Frostbomb, most important gem is Potent Exposure. If you will get some extra gems, then make sure to spend them for Prolonged Duration or Echo to activate and make more powerful exposure. And you probably see one more skill over here. It's Elemental Weakness with Magnified Area and Rapid Casting. Actually, you want to have Heightened Curse to increase power of this Elemental Weakness. However, I was unlucky and haven't found any gems on my run. So technically, full build will be actually available to you almost right from the get-go. After unlocking skill gems tier 7, that's where you will unlock this Curse, and Elemental Weakness is insane, mostly because it will lower enemy resistance. But you may say, well, we are already lowering resistance by using Frost Bomb, but Frost Bomb applying exposure, and unlike penetration, exposure and Curse, which basically lowering resistance, stack together pretty nicely, and you will not only able to remove resistance of enemies, but also you will deal more and more and more damage to them, since their resistance will be negative in most cases. From now on, it's just Exposure, Frost Bomb, Orb of Storm, followed by Ember Fusilade, and repeat this combination over and over and over again. Basically, that's what you see on the screen right now, and that's how you melt bosses pretty easily. And yes, I'm still with Act 1 Wand. Key for survival is to have enough life, as I told you. A little bit of shield also will help, but most important part for us is life. By the end of Act 3 I was able to generate 800 life, mostly with gear, but also because I used only as much intelligence nodes on my passive skill tree as much as I need to upgrade my skills, and all other nodes was strength to get more health. You just witnessed that this build is enough to defeat Viper before she even tries to fly, because I was able to stun her and she was out. Can we do the same with Doriani? Can we defeat this big robot before he will fly? The answer is yes. Again, just use all your skills, make sure to drink your potions so you get your mana, because mana is a little bit of trouble when you get like pretty deeply in the game. And if you're doing your combinations correctly, if everything is alright, it's pretty easy to just beat and defeat bosses insanely fast. If you get more sockets for gems, just add damage, get all elemental damage nodes and spell damage and casting speed on your tree, get some mana regeneration and casting speed, and you will be golden. What you can do next? What you can do next with this build? Well, there's loads of transitions you can apply. But this season we got some nice Firestorm build, and also I got some Spark build in mind. So if you enjoy some Sorceress, make sure to subscribe, leave a like and add a comment for this video, and I will know that you're interested in content for some crazy awesome Sorceress builds. Have a good luck in 0.4 and see you in the next videos.